Tonight on CTV News, pipeline politics.
When you think about the potential of an increased tanker traffic and increased traffic in this part of the world, it's only a matter of time before something else happens.
Ottawa and Alberta appear closer to a pipeline agreement. The pushback as coastal First Nations point to this week's barge accident.
I actually think it's very cruel. It's extremely cruel.
Cracking down on campers at a provincial rest stop. The government shuts it down. We talk to those who are staying put. And thousands of eagles have landed. The pocket of the Fraser Valley that's home to one of the largest eagle gatherings in the world. Plus, moving into the old Nordstrom space, one of Canada's fashion giants will have its flagship store at Pacific Centre. How massive the store will be.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A battle over a potential oil pipeline from Alberta to the BC North Coast is intensifying tonight. Sources tell CTV that an agreement between Ottawa and Alberta is becoming closer to reality. But there are plenty of hurdles. CTV's Rob Buffum has the story.
Coastal First Nations joined BC Premier Eby to reaffirm their opposition to lifting the tanker ban on BC's north coast.
One crude oil spill would destroy billions of dollars in economic activity.
The show of force after Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's government has repeatedly called for an end to the moratorium on North Coast tankers so it can build a new oil pipeline to the coast.
One province or one premier cannot block the assets of 5 million Albertans in our most important industry.
On Wednesday, Coastal First Nations leaders signed a declaration reiterating a 50-year standing opposition to tankers, motivated by fears of a catastrophic spill and its potential impact on the ecosystem and economy related to tourism and fisheries.
We know fully the effects of what an oil spill can do to the ocean, to our breadbasket, to our way of life.
Eby reiterated frustrations. There's no proponent for a pipeline, and talk of one could compromise existing agreements with Coastal First Nations to support BC's energy project. Mi Jung, we were looking at a story from earlier this month when we had the Coastal First Nations meeting with Premier Eby and several cabinet ministers signing that declaration expressing their opposition to having that tanker ban lifted. Today we heard the same message from the NDP, Ravi Kahlon, the Jobs Minister, as well as Energy Minister Dix, reiterating that there is no proponent for a pipeline and that it would be damaging to their current projects underway that require agreement from First Nations. So we'll have to see how this unfolds. But we heard from the federal finance minister today. He weighed in and said he did not dispute the idea that an agreement could be announced in the coming days. Danielle Smith last Friday had said she thought a memorandum of understanding was likely in the next few days and there could be an announcement to that effect. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, the Coastal First Nations, as well as people like Grand Chief Stuart Phillip, had expressed their ongoing opposition, as has the NDP consistently. But again, we're hearing that talks are definitely progressing and there is a good likelihood of an announcement in the coming days that a pipeline that would involve an exemption to the oil tanker ban could be announced. We'll find out in a matter of days. Mi Jung.
Yeah, and if we hear that announcement, we will hear the pushback as well. Thank you, Rob. Of course, no deal has been signed, but a barge accident this week near Bella Bella is renewing concerns about the environmental risk of oil tankers in northern BC waters. A massive container barge en route to Alaska started taking on water. Officials scrambled to tow the vessel to a safe harbor before any of the containers fell in. CTV's Ben Milger has the latest.
Some of the hundreds of sea cans on this massive listing barge are barely above the waterline, and at this point, it's unclear what's in them.
We have put out oil containment. We've around 3 important salmon creeks in the area. as well as around some of our important cultural features. So we're just trying to be proactive in the worst case scenario.
The barge, en route from Alaska to Seattle, began taking on water Tuesday morning in Fisher Channel, about 15 kilometers east of Bella Bella in Heltzig territory.
They found multiple holes that had been punctured into the bottom of the hull of the barge, so obviously it had struck ground at some point.
The Heltzig Nation has voiced strong opposition to any proposed oil pipeline to the north coast, largely over concerns something similar could happen with a tanker carrying up to 2 million barrels of oil.
There's fuels just flowing out of the boat.
In October 2016, an American tug ran aground and sank, spilling about 700 barrels of diesel and heavy oils. The Heltzig Nation says the effects of that spill are still being felt as some traditional seafood harvesting areas remain closed to its members. For now, the listing barge has not caused any pollution in the water, but the nation says it has stressed its marine emergency response capacity.
When you think about the potential of an increased tanker traffic and increased traffic in this part of the world, it's only a matter of time before something else happens. We've seen more and more incidents like this over the past 10 years.
The barge, which is apparently stable for the time being, has been towed into an area more sheltered from the weather. Another barge with a crane is en route to offload the cargo. Dunlap Towing, the Washington state company which owns the tug, could not be reached for comment. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
The province is touting a new trade deal, but it's not with another country. It's an agreement to make it easier for BC businesses to sell their products across this country. CTV's Dimitra Maragos joins us now. And Dimitra, it's called the Canadian Mutual Recognition Agreement. What more can you tell us?
Mi Jung, that's exactly right. The province says this agreement was decades in the making and describes it as the largest red tape reduction in Canada's history. The agreement essentially breaks down interprovincial trade barriers, making it easier to buy and sell goods between the provinces. Now, this means that businesses no longer have to search through the rules of 14 different jurisdictions to figure out what requirements they must meet to sell their products. Essentially, if a product can be sold legally in one province or territory, it can be sold in another without additional approvals, saving money and time. Now, the initiative will cover thousands of products. However, it does exclude food.
It means more choices, competitive pricing, and some same trusted standards across the country. And for global investors and companies, we're talking about ease of doing business, reliable and high sustainable standards, and integrated supply chains.
Now, the deal could add $200 billion annually to Canada's bottom line and increase the GDP by nearly 8%. We also spoke with the president and CEO of Wine BC. He doesn't anticipate this having a huge impact on the wine industry right now, but believes it uncorks future opportunities.
This is absolutely a good step in the right direction to try and unlock all these interprovincial trade barriers that have been in place for far too long.
Now, the CMRA will come into effect next month. Mi Jung.
Thank you, Dimitra. A rest stop in Abbotsford that turned into an encampment years ago has now been shut down by the province. But critics say the homeless who still live there were not given any notice and have nowhere to go. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has more on why the site was suddenly closed and the concerns it's raising.
The Cool Road rest stop is jammed with RVs, not owned by travelers passing through, rather by people who've made this place their home, sometimes for years.
Well, welcome to my humble abode.
But last week, the province cut off access to the site.
They came in with no notice, no communication, nothing whatsoever. They came in, they locked down the bathrooms, turned off the fresh water.
The transportation minister says they had to act.
What's been taking place is unacceptable. It was decided the best thing to do was actually to shut the site down, and that means the decommissioning of services.
Parts of this rest stop are filled with trash. There's about a dozen trailers here that are empty, some of them potentially dumped here, many of them filled with garbage, like this one.
Mike Farnworth says the rest stop has been the source of significant complaints, as well as concerns from police who say they've been called here 72 times just this year.
Those calls for service range from assistance calls to fires to violent crime to arresting people on warrant and so on, and various property and drug crime as well.
Police acknowledge that some of those living here are not involved in any criminal activity. Advocates for the homeless agree.
We even have one guy living here that has MS, that needs the services here, needs a bathroom, needs water.
Is there a lot of crime here?
No. Ever since the few people that were here doing it, they've left. It's been quiet, peaceful.
Some campers say they have no other housing options.
Don't rate what they're doing. I worked 37 years.
The city of Abbotsford says it was not provided specific timelines or made aware that services would be discontinued for individuals. The city says it supports giving notice when people are required to move from encampment and are disappointed that did not happen in this case.
I actually think it's very cruel. It's extremely cruel. A lot of people in the situation are very vulnerable right now.
Winbo and other campers aren't sure what's next for them. They say they have nowhere to go. Michelle Brunoro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
Public health experts are pushing back on Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim's claims that a police crackdown on the downtown east side led to a reduction in overdose deaths. They say overdoses are declining across the province and country. As CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, one researcher believes the mayor's comments are a disservice during an ongoing public health crisis.
Violent crime in the downtown east side and across the city is down significantly.
Mayor Ken Sim stands behind the work of a police-led response to crime on the downtown east side.
Firefighters are responding to less calls, less fires, less overdoses.
According to data from Vancouver Fire, Task Force Barrage reduced overdoses by 36% between February and August.
Lives were saved. I don't know how much more obvious it could be when you have 1,200 fewer calls for overdoses.
While that may be true, public health experts say it's misleading to connect Barrage to the ongoing public health crisis.
I'm incredibly frustrated with that type of comment from the mayor. To suggest that policing is having that kind of impact on overdose deaths when that is really not what evidence supports and is not what the data supports is irresponsible and a real disservice to the public.
Researchers say since 2024, overdose deaths have been declining in North America due to a changing drug supply and how people use drugs.
Moving away from injection and more towards inhalation. And there's reason to believe that when you inhale drugs, it's a bit safer. We certainly see less overdoses at our supervised inhalation sites.
The 6-month task force came at a cost of $5 million.
You can't put a dollar value on someone's life. Would it be safe to assume that if there's 1,200 lives saved, that's literally less than $5,000 per life saved?
If your calculations are correct, if you say that every person that we respond to, we have the potential impact of saving their life, then yes, you're correct.
The BC Centre on Substance Use says an increase in policing has the opposite effect on overdoses.
Policing actually makes public health harms elevated and increases the risks of overdose. So there's really no credibility to that statement by the mayor.
When asked to weigh in on the input from experts, the mayor's office deferred CTV to the fire department. Born out of Barrage is a new policing district called District 5. It aims to further the VPD's work in this neighborhood. Isabella Zaffarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
It's 6:13 here, looking at a live shot of downtown Vancouver. Things look pretty calm and peaceful out there, and we had a really nice day. Lots of sunshine today.
Yes, more than expected. Nobody's complaining about that at all. It is clouding over right now, so we are seeing mostly cloudy conditions. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland. 7 degrees at the harbor as well as in North Vancouver. You're looking at 9 degrees in the valley for Abbotsford and Chilliwack. Look at Surrey, though, 11 degrees right now. Very cool in Pitt Meadows at 4 degrees. As we head through the overnight, we will see a few showers roll its way through. 6 degrees into tomorrow. We'll start off with early morning showers, but it does dry up with a few breaks in there and a high of 10.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
So not a washout tomorrow, but a very wet weekend ahead. I've got those details coming up.
Sounds good. Thanks, Anne. Family and friends gathered in Squamish today to say goodbye to a child who made a deep and lasting impact on their lives. The 8-year-old died last week after falling from a Yale town high-rise. CTV's Craig Krause has more.
Sorrow and heartbreak. Words that can describe the funeral of 8-year-old Gandam Taheri. Her father and mother weeping as they laid their daughter to rest on Wednesday.
A grief and a pain that I could never imagine.
Dozens of friends, family, and loved ones gathering in Mount Garibaldi Cemetery to say goodbye.
Really sad, but also happy because she's in a good place now.
Classmates now reflecting on their friendship and ways they're going to honor her.
We're gonna leave a space in between us because we want her spirit to come join us.
Taheri died on November 11th after falling from her father's apartment in Yaletown. The Vancouver Police Department is investigating to better understand how this all happened, not providing further detail on Wednesday. While many wait for answers, tens of thousands of dollars are flowing in for her mother.
You know, the fundraising is going to make a huge difference for them. Not just now, but they're welcoming a new child here in less than 2 months.
While the money helps to pay for the funeral and other expenses, it won't fill the void left behind of a beautiful little girl who brought joy to the lives she touched. Craig Krause, CTV News, Squamish.
Nature lovers and photographers are flocking to the Harrison River to take in a wildlife spectacle. Eagles returning to feast on salmon. Also ahead.
Ryan Wedding is a modern-day iteration of Pablo Escobar.
There's now a $15 million reward for the arrest of Ryan Wedding, the ex-Olympian, now accused of being a violent drug kingpin. The new charges when CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. Former Canadian Olympian Ryan Wedding is facing new charges in the U.S., where he's at the center of a major drug trafficking investigation. Prosecutors have released a new indictment alleging Wedding ordered for the murder of a federal witness in Colombia earlier this year. He's under investigation for allegedly running one of the world's most violent cocaine trafficking networks. The indictment lists additional charges of witness tampering, money laundering, and drug trafficking. 7 Canadians have been arrested in connection with the case, including Wedding's lawyer.
His lawyer advised them to kill this witness. His lawyer told him if you kill this witness, the case would be dismissed. That lawyer is now in custody, and he'll be extradited and brought to justice here in the United States.
The Department of Justice says it plans to extradite the Canadians arrested Tuesday to the U.S. to stand trial. Wedding, who lived in Coquitlam at one time, remains on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Officials believe he's living in Mexico. The reward for information leading to his arrest has been increased from $10 to $15 million. The largest winter gathering of its kind is underway in the Harrison River Valley. Thousands of birds, including bald eagles, have descended for a visit and a snack. And as St. John Alexander reports, the show is only expected to get better.
Keeping court way up high, those sharp, piercing eyes are always on the lookout. Of late, they spot an unusual sight. Human types who need tools for better vision seem keen on staring back.
Lived here for 25 years and have never come out, so this is the first time seeing this, and it's incredible.
This, we're told, is just the beginning. Eagles everywhere, packing the sandy beaches of the Harrison River like tourists in a resort. How many? Well, good luck counting.
No, you've got to come and observe this. Like, I don't know, how many eagles do you think we have out there? Hundreds.
Every year between November and February, they book flights out of the north to escape the cold for warmer weather and stock up on BC salmon.
You know, it's just beautiful to see them in the wild and think of the journey that they've taken.
In fact, even more are expected. Some have seen thousands move through the region.
It's a little early right now. The water is pretty high. It gets better. The eagles come in closer when the water is low.
I mean, this is nature and it's best.
Glorious place. Glorious. Bring a set of binoculars a good camera if you have one. It's just amazing.
Now, this amazement is about a 2-hour drive from Vancouver, but for those who don't need tools to travel, in a blink of an eye. St. John Alexander, CTV News on Harrison Link.
Some good news for dog owners in South Surrey. Leashed dogs will now be allowed on the main walking path at Crescent Beach all year round. Surrey City Council voted in favor of the change following a successful pilot project over the summer that they say proved visitors and pets can share the park safely. Previously, leashed dogs were only allowed on the main path from September to May. We now know who will move into the old Nordstrom space, what Aritzia has planned for the prime retail location downtown. Also ahead.
Knowing me is, how could I let this happen to us?
CTV investigates the epidemic of fraud, how an Ontario couple lost $150,000 after believing a deep fake video. That's next. AI is continuing to become more sophisticated and realistic, and scammers are using it to come after your money. One Ontario couple found themselves out more than $150,000 after falling for what turned out to be a deep fake video. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has their story and how you can better protect yourself from online scams.
A video of what appeared to be Elon Musk encouraging a new investment opportunity turned out to be a devastating fraud for Doug and Victoria Lloyd.
Knowing me is, how could I let this happen to us?
CTV News spoke to the couple in January of last year, telling us they were scammed out of $177,000. Doug Lloyd says seeing what turned out to be a deep fake technology video, they were scammed after a fake financial advisor pulled money from their line of credit over a series of months.
I trusted that guy so much. He was so friendly, and the money looked like we were making money all the time. We could go online and check it, and then it took so much to finally realize it's a scam.
Ontario Provincial Police say fraud is becoming more rampant and hard to detect.
Last year, the anti-fraud center reported $648 million in reported losses, and that was the highest reported losses we've ever seen in Canada.
So how do you best protect yourself? Detective Constable John Armit with the OPP Anti-Rackets Branch says the first line of defense, a good strong password.
You want to have letters and you want to have numbers, but also symbols. Go down the keyboard and you can find a pattern that you like and then add a digit or a symbol. And a password like this, it's virtually impossible to crack.
He says you can also think about a combination of unique phrases that are hard for others to guess. Set up facial recognition on your phone.
I'm going to set up my face.
Click Face ID and passcode in your settings. Position your face within the frame and follow the prompts. Then you go into the app you want to manage and click Require Face ID to enable it. That way,
if anyone gets a hold of your phone, they're unable to access that app.
Another is two-factor authentication. When you sign into a website, that site will now send you a code, often through a text on your phone for you to put in. And when it comes to website links, emails, and apps, he says be cautious about what you're clicking.
They're able to spoof an email address with a one digit off or one letter off. So really take your time.
He says to always put a website directly into a search bar or call your bank directly using the number on the back of the card.
If you go to Google and type in a search for whatever you're searching for, the bad actors will pay for search engine optimization. So they'll put their web page at the top of the search. And so you're clicking on that believing that is with the legitimate organization.
And finally, always stop and think. Don't ever give in to pressure. He says if something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Relieved everything's over. There's no more to do.
After having to sell a home to pay off debt and give up original plans for a dream home,
this is it.
The Lloyds are now building a new dream home on their property and continue to share their story in hopes of preventing future victims. Kimberly Johnson, CTV News, Kingston.
The United Kingdom is moving ahead with a ban on reselling tickets online for profit in an effort to crack down on price gouging. The British government says fans who want to go to sporting events and concerts are getting ripped off. The UK says people are using bots to snatch up bundles of tickets for popular concerts, sports, and other events and reselling them at sky-high prices.
hopefully this will prevent those touts from being able to do that, and ensure that there's a fair playing field for fans who want tickets to go and see these great artists and get tickets to these great events.
Radiohead's upcoming tour in London is one of the highest priced on resale sites. Standing tickets for the band's show later this week were originally priced at $156 Canadian, have now reached up to $1,600 on resale sites. A painting that was looted by the Nazis has just made history. The most expensive piece of modern art sold at auction. Also coming up, we'll tell you where there was a rare sighting of an orca superpod. All of the endangered southern resident whales swimming together. That's ahead. Hundreds of people have been forced to flee their homes after a volcano erupted on Indonesia's main island of Java. Plumes of ash and smoke could be seen billowing out of Mount Semeru today. Officials are warning people to stay at least 8 kilometers away to avoid being hit by ejected rocks. An eruption by Semeru in 2021 killed more than 50 people and damaged more than 5,000 homes. A portrait with a complex history has become the most expensive work of modern art ever sold at auction.
Elizabeth Lader, a portrait only at Sotheby's here in the Breuer. The Klimt, Julian, is yours. Congratulations. Congratulations.
The buyer remained anonymous, but this 6-foot-tall portrait by Austrian artist Gustav Klimt sold for more than $235 million at Sotheby's in New York. The piece was completed more than a century ago, but was looted by the Nazis during World War II and remained hidden from public view for decades. BC's endangered southern resident killer whales have showed up in massive numbers along the Salish Sea. Upwards of 74 southern resident orcas were spotted swimming to and from Seattle, forming what's known as a superpod through the Puget Sound and into the Strait of Juan de Fuca. According to researchers at the Orca Behavior Institute, the rare event occurred over a 2-day period between November 9th and 11th and involved every member of southern residents J, K, and L pods. The whales were last seen off the coast of Seattle before the pods set off on their separate ways.
That is amazing.
Yeah, incredible that they all are able to find each other and swim together. I mean, that's every single member of the southern resident orcas. A huge family reunion, Anne.
It is. Just in time for the holidays. They thought they'd get together before Thanksgiving, and then they can move on their way.
They've parted ways now.
Exactly, for their own Christmases. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. A beautiful day today. More sun than expected, but we'll take it. It has clouded over. We're seeing mostly cloudy conditions out there, all thanks to this frontal system moving its way in, bringing in some wet weather for the north coast. Here's how everything will play out. Seeing some rain already for Haida Gwaii and parts of the north coast heading into tomorrow morning. For your early morning commute, showers for Vancouver Island, and yes, we could see a sprinkle or two, and then heading throughout the afternoon tomorrow night, higher elevations will see that rain-snow mix for the north and central coast and parts of Haida Gwaii. So for us across the lower mainland, overcast skies right now. Through the overnight, it'll stay cloudy. For your early morning commute, there are the showers that I mentioned, but it doesn't last very long, dries up quite nicely, and we will see a few breaks as we head into tomorrow afternoon. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for the northeastern corner of the province. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Cloudy with showers for Port Hardy at 9 degrees. That's what you can expect for Campbell River and Comox. You'll see showers for Tofino as well with a high of 11. 8 degrees for Port Alberni. Periods of rain. It'll stay dry for Nanaimo. 10 degrees. Early morning showers possible for the southern Gulf Islands before it clears out of the way. Mix of sun and cloud for Victoria with a high of 11. For the Sunshine Coast, cloudy skies, showers, 9. It does stay dry up the Sea to Sky Highway with overcast skies. 5 degrees for Whistler, 8 for Squamish, and for us across the lower mainland. Early morning showers drying up with some sunny breaks through the afternoon. We'll see temperatures between 9 and 11 degrees, and then the rain returns for Friday. Starts off light, 10 degrees, and then it's soggy for Saturday and Sunday, and then clears up just in time for the work week. Monday, mostly sunny skies, cooling down to 9 degrees. We'll see a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday, clouding over for Wednesday with a high of 7. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So a few sprinkles in the morning, not a complete washout at all. The rain really returns just in time for the weekend.
It did feel chillier today.
Oh, it definitely did, because the overnight lows last night dropped down to 2 degrees.
So a bit of a trade-off when you see more sun, a bit cooler. Yeah. But we'll take whatever the forecast is bringing us.
We'll embrace it.
Okay, thanks, Ann. The old Nordstrom space downtown will be filled with shoppers again. Details on the new Aritzia flagship store. And
I said, who's paying for this? He goes, don't worry, you're covered.
Sticker shock when an Ontario man ended up needing emergency medical care in Alberta. What is not covered when you're in a different province? That's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down $1.42 to end the day at $59.25 a barrel. Gold gained more than $16 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both finished higher, up 241 points and 47 points, respectively. We now know who will be taking over some of the massive retail space downtown that was left vacant by Nordstrom more than 2 years ago. Aritzia has announced it will be opening a new flagship boutique at Pacific Centre. The shop will span 40,000 square feet across 4 floors, which is about 20% of the space previously occupied by Nordstrom. The Vancouver-based brand says the flagship will include details inspired by the Pacific Northwest, as well as a casual yet elevated dining concept. It is expected to open in 2027. Honda is recalling more than 260,000 vehicles in the U.S. and Canada due to a software error. The recall has been issued for Honda Accord hybrid models made between 2023 and 2025. Honda Canada says it could cause a loss of power while driving, increasing the risk of a collision. Owners are being asked to visit an authorized Honda dealer who will reprogram the vehicle. Medical bills when you leave Canada can add up fast, which is why you need travel medical insurance whenever you leave the country. But it may surprise you to know you might also want to have additional health insurance when traveling within Canada as well. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
Surprised?
Doug McGinley of Oakville has always purchased travel medical insurance when going to the U.S. or if vacationing outside of Canada. But he didn't have travel health insurance when he went to Alberta this past summer. He had chest pains and ended up in hospital in Medicine Hat.
They admitted me into the ER and performed a few tests and determined that I was either suffering or had suffered a mild heart attack.
McGinley had to be flown by air ambulance to Calgary for emergency treatment.
I said, who's paying for this? He goes, don't worry, you're covered.
He says he was given excellent care, but he was shocked last month to get a bill from Alberta Health Services for ambulance charges of over $12,000. The flight is not covered under Alberta or Ontario health plans.
I was told it was covered, and they came back and they said, transportation is not covered under the Health Care Act. You owe us the money.
When CTV News reached out to the Ontario Health Ministry, a spokesperson said only services received in publicly funded hospitals are covered. Out-of-province ambulance charges are not covered and are the responsibility of the patient.
The number one item that is not covered travel within Canada is ambulance coverage, whether it be off of mountain skiing in BC or what happened to this individual.
Martin Firestone with Travel Secure says most health services are covered when traveling within Canada, but there are exceptions. Provincial health plans don't cover ambulance, air and ground, mountain and sea rescue, emergency dental services, medical equipment rental, and prescription drugs. Firestone recommends purchasing a product called Travel Within Canada, which is less than $1 a day.
It is available, and some people now, after hearing this story, may say it might be wise to invest in that.
McGinley says he appreciates the care he received, but didn't know he would have such an expensive ambulance bill to pay.
If it can help somebody else avoid the situation I'm in, that's great.
10 of the cats we have recently featured have just found their forever homes. But we've got some new animals up for adoption. Homeward Bound is still ahead tonight. Plus, Sunset soundtrack. Adam finds out why a woman driving home from a ukulele lesson felt so compelled to stop and watch the sunset. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning Vancouver.
Well, as we head into the holiday season, how many of us are feeling the squeeze? Thursday on Your Morning Vancouver, a look at a new study that highlights how many Canadians can't afford food on the table. Plus, robot therapy. We'll tell you about the program at BC Children's Hospital helping kids cope with stress. We'll see you in the morning.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by
CA. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct.
The Canucks' heads are still above water after a tough road trip against three of the East's toughest teams. The offense has finally started to click. In fact, no team has scored more goals so far this season. But struggles in their own end are becoming a major cause for concern. Here's CTV's Ben Nesbitt with this week's Ringside Report.
After a lengthy flight home from Florida, the Canucks were back on the ice Wednesday morning. Much of their time spent in the defensive end, trying to tighten things up after the defending champion Panthers ran up the score on them.
Anytime you give up 7, won't count the empty net, but it's going to be hard to win, so it was good practice.
After sitting out the first game of the road trip in Carolina, Quinn Hughes returned for the final 2 contests, recording 7 assists, giving him 10 in his last 3 games. After a slow start to the year by his standards, the captain feels he's hitting his stride.
I still feel like I can continue to improve, but I like where my game's at. And I feel like how I always feel, especially since I've been back from my first injury.
Elias Pettersson has also picked up his play, shaking off a sluggish start to the year offensively, recording 4 multi-point games in a row.
People were praising his defensive work early in the season, but there's got to be a bottom line for a player making $11.6 million.
While the Canucks' offense has been above average, their league-worst penalty kill and struggles adapting to a new system has left them almost dead last in goals against.
Under Rick Tocchet, they were a very good defensive team. They played as a 5-man defensive unit and, of course, had some terrific goaltenders there to back them up. That was more of a zonal system. Adam Foote is asking his players to mark other guys on the team man for man.
With the high-powered Dallas Stars in town Thursday night, any adjustments will need to be made quickly. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CA.
The Toronto Blue Jays will see one of their top stars test free agency. Bo Bichette rejected a qualifying offer from the Blue Jays, which would have seen him make just over $22 million next year. Bichette finished second in the majors with 181 hits last season and is considered one of the top free agents in this year's class and is expected to secure a major contract. If he signs with another team, the Jays will receive a draft pick due to Bichette rejecting the qualifying offer. World Cup qualifying has wrapped up for 2025 with 3 more teams earning a spot in next summer's tournament, including one for the very first time.
Obispo gets the header out. Curaçao have done it. A blue wave is heading to the World Cup.
Curaçao topped their group thanks to a draw against Jamaica last night, becoming the smallest nation to ever qualify for a World Cup with a population just above 150,000 people. They're joined by Panama and Haiti, who also won their groups. There are still 6 spots left for grabs, and those will be decided in a playoff next March. Meantime, Canada will learn who they'll play in the group stage when the official draw takes place on December the 5th.
Something here.
Pretty exciting for Kurosawa.
Yeah, that's
Darling of the tournament. They're going to be the darling of the tournament.
I love those David and Goliath stories. Hopefully they'll be in a round that's not too difficult. Okay, it's time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to furry friends from local rescues who are looking for their forever home.
Here are some pets from the SPCA.
Meet Momo, a 12-year-old tortoise-shell beauty who has been in the SPCA's care for 140 days. She's no lap cat, but she loves to play. It's described as confident, clever, and full of sass. Momo needs an adult-only, pet-free home with a cat-savvy human who respects her space. You can adopt her from the SPCA's Maple Ridge branch.
And looking for a loyal sidekick? Aww. Yeah, Piper's a sweet 7-year-old Catahoula leopard dog who loves her walks and cozy naps. She'll thrive in a home with a work-from-home owner with no other dogs or young children. Due to a nail condition, Piper needs a special diet and supplements. You can adopt her now at the Burnaby branch.
Loves the camera, too. Yeah, here's another pup with a lot of love. Pinky, this 10-month-old Border Collie Retriever mix is bursting with energy and personality. Pinky needs a lot of exercise and would thrive with an active family. She'll also need some training for leash manners and polite greetings, but her food motivation makes her a quick learner. Pinky is available to adopt at the West Vancouver Centre.
And this is exciting, guys, from VOCRA, the cat rescue organization. In the 2 months since we launched Homeward Bound, 10 of the cats we have featured have found their forever homes. That includes 3 bonded pairs, as well as Brady, Seamus, Sprinky, and Jillian.
Aww. That's good news.
Yeah, so a big thank you to all our viewers. They're obviously animal lovers, and they've stepped up.
Definitely. And for more information, head to adopt.spca.bc.ca.
Okay, just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Kevin's got to look ahead to your late news.
Yeah, Mijung, we'll have more on the Vancouver-based company Aritzia taking over the old massive Nordstrom location in downtown Vancouver. The site is on Granville Street, an area the city is trying to revitalize, and we're hearing from a city councillor who's thrilled with the news, saying these are the types of projects that can help the city's entertainment district thrive again. Also, what about the iconic old flagship Bay building that's been vacant for nearly a year? Well, we're learning about plans for the building with a connection to the FIFA World Cup. We will explain at 11:30. Yeah, a bit of breaking news today.
Oh, that is intriguing, because I was wondering about the Bay space. A lot of retail space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking forward to the new Aritzia, too. That's a lot of puffy jackets you can fit in that.
They need a lot of super puffs in there.
Okay, well, finally, Adam spends time with a woman who brings 2 of her favorite joys in life together to create a special moment each day on the Sawatsky sign-off.
Ginny Glover was driving home from a ukulele practice when she couldn't help but stop to watch the setting sun.
Look at this. I mean, you have to be pointing that way because it's so beautiful. When there's something that beautiful, you have to stop, don't you?
And seeing as you've stopped, why not take a picture?
That could be a beautiful painting.
Like when Ginny lived overseas and took these photos.
It was one of my very favorite things to do.
And still is one of the things she says in her toolkit.
Whenever you're feeling low or having a tough time, it's just having things in your life that you can go to that really bring you joy.
The other tool in her kit, Ginny says, is the ukulele.
Because it is such a happy instrument.
Which she agrees to play as a soundtrack to the setting sun.
How about this one? Try a little kindness. You've got to try a little kindness.
It's a song about lending a hand to those in need and being kind to folks with who we disagree.
Just shine your light on everyone you see.
And as the setting sun shines its light, Ginny invites everyone to see.
I mean, honestly, you need to be looking
that no matter what you're in the middle of doing.
Can I grab it for you?
Sure.
Okay.
I need to look.
You do need to look at that.
That no matter how your day unfolded, if you take a moment, it can always end with a burst of beauty.
Just shine your light on everyone you see.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Oh, she's really good at the ukulele. You know, so many kids learn ukulele at school. How many actually continue with that skill?
My niece has, and I got a ukulele last Christmas that I thought I was going to learn.
And?
It's still there.
There's only 4 strings.
I know, but it's not
How hard is it?
It's so hard. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Early morning fog in New Westminster. Thanks, Chris, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. And you're looking at the new and old Patello bridges in that picture.
Oh, great shots. Okay, and a little programming note. CTV News at 5 and 6 are preempted on this channel because of NFL tomorrow, but you can catch our shows on CTV 2. So we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see Kevin tonight.
See ya.